Hi everyone, it's Veronica, and I'm here with Soul Pilgrimage Session number 15 tonight. So, as you likely know, this is our Soul Pilgrimage, and it's based on the book Soul Steps 52 Ways to Reconnect with Your Spirit. So, hopefully, you're reading along. But you don't have to. You can join into these videos on this soul pilgrimage without reading the book. Of course, if you read the book and follow along and do the work beforehand, perhaps you can ask some questions and we can go a little deeper into some of the work in the book with you. So you can find us here, just to recap, every Sunday night at 7 p.m. Newfoundland Standard Time. One of the authors, either Natalie Finley, Florence Strang, or myself, Veronica Connors, will be here teaching one of the chapters, one of the 52 chapters from Soul Steps. And we're calling this a pilgrimage because a pilgrimage and the book is all about a way to increase your personal power so that you can live the life that you came here to live. And it's all about revealing that inner wisdom. And you already know everything you need to know. We're just here to guide you, to show you how to use the tools you have or how to hone the tools you have to be able to reveal that inner wisdom. Because you have all the answers you need. I have all the answers I need. And the work that I do helps me find those answers for myself. Because you and I'm the best person to make the choices and lead my own life, and so are you. You have the knowledge you need to lead your own life, and when you use the tools you have, then it gets easier. So welcome. Let's see. So tonight's session, a hurricane of wellness, soul step number 5. It's on page 23, and we're going to be looking at that soul step tonight. And one of the ways that you can grow that inner wisdom that I'm talking about is to get in alignment with the abundance and the goodness and the wellness that is all around you all the time. Because I believe, and many people believe, and we know that this energy that created us is love, is goodness, is pure positive energy. And when that's a part of us, that is in us, that spark exists within us, and our job is to grow that spark bigger and bigger. So the way to stay in alignment with that energy is to grow that spark, to access that lightness and that pure positive energy. And we're going to talk about how that goodness is all around us tonight, and that when we grow that personal spark, we have access to that goodness. We move away from lack and towards that goodness. So even though it may seem like things are chaotic in your life, and it does, my life can be chaotic too, and it feels like sometimes just nothing is going well. Lots of things and it seems to come in little bunches, doesn't it? Like 3 at a time we hear, and it seems like you get 3 little things or 3 big things going on in your life all at once, and often that cracks you wide open. That brings a real moment of clarity for you then to really learn to use those tools to help return to that state of peace. Excuse me. Because it's only simply, a shift in perspective that can then reveal that source of well-being and grace. My throat's really acting up, isn't it? I'm just going to drink another little bit of water. Let's just recenter for a second, taking a nice big breath. Just calming that throat energy. And just getting back to the conversation. So, I was saying that even when life seems really chaotic, and it's periodic, or maybe you're in a state of chaos right now, often a shift in perspective. Sometimes it's a simple shift that can really help change things. And it can reveal to you from one moment in chaos and disconnect and uncomfortable emotions and feeling lost, a tiny shift sideways in perspective can reveal to you that flow of goodness that's always there. We just cover it up with what's going on. So, for example, when you focus on your desires, the things you want in life, and you commit to staying in a good feeling place, then you are lining up with the bigger grace that's flowing all around us, with the bigger sense of good that's always available to us, and with, as we're talking about in this piece, the wellness from the universe. I'm going to talk more about how you can connect with that inner sense of wellness. So, in A Hurricane of Wellness, it's all about using your own personal tools, as we all have these tools. You're walking around with the tools you need every single day. And two of those main tools that we're going to talk about are your mind and your emotions. But I want to switch up the way we talk about that today just a little bit. So when you use your mind to focus on what is good, and when you use your emotions to create good feeling emotions in the body, you are aligning with that hurricane of wellness. And then it makes life flow easier. Because I want you to know that no matter what's going on today, there is nothing out of order here. All is well right now. And all we have to do is line up with the peace that already exists within our day. It's always there for us. Just knowing that is very comforting. Knowing that it's maybe my mind and my emotions that have turned me temporarily away from that peace gives me comfort. And now I use those tools to shift back into that peace because I know I have them. I use them often. I grow that muscle. And when you do, you'll see that you are a powerful being. You are in control of how peaceful you feel. And that's an amazing thing. But first, let's go back to the idea of a hurricane of wellness. And even though at times, like I said, it may seem like you're in the middle of a hurricane and things are hurling at you and you're weaving and bobbing and ducking and trying to avoid all these collisions in your life, consider the idea that there is also something else going on within that hurricane. There is within the very center of that storm a center of peace. And within that peace, your wellness dwells. And just like in every single hurricane that we hear about, and we know the natural phenomena of a hurricane, there's an eye in that storm, the eye of the storm. And that I is you in your truest sense, your truest form. Peaceful, pure, positive energy. That's your truest form. Peaceful, pure, positive energy. And it resides in your center. So just thinking of the eye of the storm of a hurricane, this is where the skies are clear and the winds are light. It's actually the calmest section of any hurricane. The eye is so calm because the strong surface winds that converge towards it never reach it. I find that so interesting. that the word hurricane comes from a Native American word that means evil spirit of the wind. Evil spirit of the wind. And from a spiritual perspective, we know that evil is simply the absence of good. I do not believe in evil, but I do see evidence of the absence of good in the world. Giving attention, as we know, and we're going to talk about that today, giving attention to evil, giving attention to this absence of good, only makes that grow bigger and bigger in your experience. And it adds to the absence of good in your experience. And that's why Mother Teresa, I'm sure many of you have heard this before, Mother Teresa was asked why she never attended anti-war demonstrations. And she said, I will never do that. But as soon as you have a pro-peace rally, I'll be there. And she knew what many of us are just learning today, that giving her attention to wellness, and in this case, peace, was a way to turn away from giving attention to the opposite of that peace, which in that case was an anti-war demonstration. She knew that giving her attention to peace grows peace, and that's why she chose not to participate in anti-war demonstrations, because that gives a certain focus, even though your intent is beyond that, it gives a certain focus to lack of peace. It gives focus to war. So are we starting to see where our focus needs to go? On what we desire and not on the lack of what we desire. So this chapter, Soul Step number 5, A Hurricane of Wellness, was inspired by the teaching of Abraham Hicks, and they talk about a hurricane of grace. And in this case, I have referred to it as a hurricane of wellness, but it was inspired by their idea. So in Soul Step number 5, I ask you to notice where the universe is helping you move towards your desires. I ask you to recognize that the more you are in the eye of the storm, the more you are in your pure, positive, peaceful energy, the more you can align with the objects of your desire that are floating all around you. Because just the fact that you have a desire or a wish, that means the universe is bringing that into creation. And now we need to line up with that creation. But how do we actually do this? This is always the trick, isn't it? How do we actually align with our desires so that we can speed up the process and make them come to us quickly? Well, often we are either turned towards them, and then the next minute we're turning away from them. So it's pushing away. Then we turn back towards them with a certain thought or emotion. And then again, we're turning away from them. And you see how it can be a dance back and forth for a very long time. But when you train yourself to keep your focus turned towards them, then that law of attraction picks up and it moves faster towards you. And it comes into this material world at a faster rate, because the energy around that is just expanding and growing bigger and bigger. So there are two concepts I would like to talk about with you in this chapter. Concept number 1 is the idea of attention versus intention. Attention, I'm just going to elongate that attention versus intention. So our attention is where we put our focus, or what you give your energy to, because you are giving your energy to all kinds of things, and it's determined by where you are putting your focus. And like Mother Teresa, are you giving it to your energy to anti-war, which is lack of peace, or are you giving your energy to peace, a demonstration for peace, because that puts your focus on peace? And that's where it gets a little tricky. You might think, oh, well, an anti-war demonstration is just as effective as a peaceful demonstration. Well, no, because we are focusing on lack versus the focus on the desire. Which is growing, the lack or the desire? So now your intention, how you want to feel, combines with your desire. It's two things happening with your intention. How you want to feel, and that combines with your wish or your desire, what you want to create. Behind every wish we have is the feeling we want to create when we get this wish. Behind every desire is the feeling that we will feel when we have this desire. That's why, as you consider your desire or your wish, it's important to not think only about what you want to create, but how you will feel, because that expands the energy of it. It lifts your vibration when you think about how it's going to feel when you have that experience, or when you have that thing, or when you have that relationship that you want. How is it going to feel? That moves you into your pure positive energy. So the combination of both those things make up your intention. So your attention is your focus, your intention is your combination of what you want and how you want to feel when you have it. Make sense? Are we getting there? Are we connecting the dots for this? So in my self-mastery class recently, we had a lot of discussion around relationships at work, like quite a few. And this is really, really common. It comes up almost every single time. And often we are so frustrated with a relationship that we continue to focus on the negativity of the relationship, even though we're trying all these things to make it more positive. But our main focus is on how frustrated we are with the relationship. So when you learn to shift a little bit into an intention of a more peaceful work environment, and then only focus on the peaceful parts of that work environment, you will see that grow. And then before you know it, you will see that the negative parts of that relationship have diminished, because now you only focus your energy on the little, and it might be just the smallest little positive particle in the relationship at first. And then when you focus on how you want to feel every day, and you know that you are responsible for how you want to feel, then that just keeps growing and growing and growing. And that's how we shift from a lack of what we want into what we want. So I'd like to read just a little excerpt from Soul Step number 5, A Hurricane of Wellness. And it's just about that very thing, about being focused on lack versus focusing on what you want. So where you put your energy, where you put your focus is called your attention. And how you want to feel, your desire, is called your intention. This is page 23 if anyone wants to follow along. How can you use your attention to realize your intention? A client, Alicia, we'll call her Alicia, came to see me with a question of how to find something she liked to do in her life. She said she had tried many different things, but seemed unable to discover something that she really, really enjoyed. She found it difficult even to attempt to give examples of what brought her joy. But she emphatically verbalized quite easily what she didn't want. This list naturally streamed from her lips, and she found it effortless to take inventory of all the things she didn't enjoy. Alicia, at that time, never realized that in her search of what she wanted, she was surprisingly giving a whole lot of time and energy and attention to the things that she didn't want. Contrast, of course, is a really useful tool, and it can certainly lead to discovery of what you do want as an opposite energy. Okay, I don't like this, but maybe I'd like this. But if you stay focused in that vibration of something that displeases you, oh, that displeases me, and this displeases me, and I'll try that, and I don't like, there's nothing that pleases me, then your energy grows because of your focus, because of your attention to it. For Alicia, what grew was a vibration of discontent, displeasure, and frustration. Not a pleasant vibration. The more she focused on it, the bigger it got. Eventually, she felt like there was nothing she enjoyed, and that everything she tried was disappointing to her. Eventually, she had that expectation that nothing I'm going to try is going to be pleasing because I've tried everything. Do you see how that focus just grew and grew and grew and grew? And in every section, there's a highlighted quote. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, a highlighted quote there under this little emblem. And it just kind of hones in on the essence of what we're trying to teach sometimes. And the highlighted quote says, wherever your energy dwells is the vibration that will grow. If you dwell in complaining, then you will easily find more things to complain about, because that's in your vibration. Like attracts like. If you dwell in lightness, then you'll easily find more lightness in your day. So that's just the crux of the whole idea. Where are you putting your focus? And from that, I'd like you to be cognizant of where you put your attention. Like every day, write that question down for yourself if you find it helpful. Ask it often during the day. Where am I putting my attention right now? Am I putting it on my desire, my wish, how I want to feel? Or am I putting it on the lack of that? And we know that if we're looking at the lack, the negativity of that office relationship, then that is just going to grow bigger. If we're looking at the lack of the money that we don't have, then that lack is just going to grow bigger and feel bigger in our life. And when it feels bigger, we get more stress and we make it bigger. You see how that's a snowball effect. So, like I said, check yourself often and make sure your focus is on the positive side of your desire and not what is on missing or lacking in your life. So just to recall, a rally for peace, not an anti-war demonstration. That just brings it home for me and helps me remember. Am I rallying for peace right now, or am I carrying the flag for anti-war? And it feels like when you're doing that, when you're demonstrating, hey, that's a terrible reason. Look how bad my coworker is. Look how negative they are. Do you see how you feel like you're being positive, but you really don't feel positive inside? You think you're being positive, you actually feel quite negative by giving attention to a coworker who is also focused in the negative. You're joining up with that energy. So you want to switch into a more positive energy, a more positive focus about how do I want to feel here in my office today? I don't want to feel like that, so now I'm going to focus on how do I want to feel? I want to feel good. I want to feel happy. I want to feel focused on my work. I want to enjoy my work. I want to have a peaceful cup of tea. Whatever. Just, I want to be productive. Focus on what you want to create in your office and in your relationships. Now on to the second concept that I'd really like to introduce in this chapter, Hurricane of Wellness. And this second concept is about, again, where your focus is going, and is it on lack, and being aware of that, because that's where things are going to change. I want you to ask yourself, are you focusing on lack right now? Is there a situation in your life right now? And if there is, please post below if you're focusing on the lack, the negative, that creates uncomfortable emotions in your body. What's happening in your life right now that feels, is it lack of money? Is it lack of a positive interaction in your workplace? Is it a lack of a healthy body? Are you focusing on an illness? Are you focusing on, where's all your energy going now? And how are you focusing on the lack? Just identify that real quick. Where am I focusing on the lack? because we know, of course, the more you do, the more that energy grows, and that's where we want to make the shift. And the more, of course, you vision, I'm going to keep saying this because I want you to hear it in many different ways, the more you envision and feel good about your desire. This is twofold. You want to be feeling good. Then the closer that will be in your hurricane to being able to touch it and bring it into your center of peace, bring it into your reality. So think of things floating around you that you want. And think of every time you focus on the lack, they move further and you can't reach them. But every time you focus on the pure positive energy, how you want to feel, they come closer to you. And now, soon enough, they're so close that they are in your reality. They're in the center of your vortex with you because you have created it just because of your peaceful outlook, just because of your focus on feeling good. That is the trick here. Lack or feeling good. Okay, so what is this tool that's going to help us? Remember I told you have a tool that's going to help you. What is this tool? And it's something that you carry with you every single day. It's something that we all have. So we have this composite parts. We have a mind. We have our emotional system. We have our body. And then we have something bigger, our spiritual self, who is the master of all this. It's not our mind who's the master. It's not our emotions who are the masters. It's not our body who's the master. These are our tools to use as a larger spiritual being connected to a larger universe. And when we use these tools, learn to use these tools, that's when you master your life. You become self-mastered. So what is this tool? Sometimes we use it to focus on lack, and sometimes we use it to daydream, to envision the life we want, moving us into those positive feelings. And of course, I'm talking about our imagination. How are you using your imagination? And whether you realize it or not, you are using it. You are always accessing this tool with your mind. Often we're using it to conjure up negative feelings, recreating uncomfortable arguments that we've had in the past. Who was right and who was wrong, who did what and who didn't do what. And this brings upset back into our center for peace. You're bringing those surface winds into your center. And really deep, deep, deep in your center, those winds cannot reach them. That's where it always will be calm. So you want to expand that center for peace in yourself. So in doing this, you can use your imagination to do that. You can build more of that pure, positive, peaceful energy in your life as if it is happening right in this moment. And that's the way we do it. We create those feelings in us as if it is already happening for us. Because you can see that if you do that on the lack side, on the negative side, and I'm sitting here thinking of an argument I have, I'm actually recreating the negative feeling in my body. That's what's happening. There's a release in my emotional system that creates a hormonal response in my body of negative emotions. And you can do the same thing with your mind. So you can focus on that negative or an upsetting time, or you can move into what do I want? What do I want to create? What does that look like? And that creates a positive release of positive emotions and hormones in your body, something that makes you feel good. And then you're expanding your center for peace. So if you are purposeful, if you use your imagination to create positive visions of the things you enjoy, and the feelings that go with them. This is purposeful. This is using your imagination on purpose. This is using your imagination as a tool to create the life you want. This can be either like remembering beautiful moments from the past that still moves you into that pure, positive, peaceful energy. So you can use it that way, remembering good things from the past. Or you can daydream about the things that you want to create in the future. Maybe you want to go on a vacation to Turkey. Maybe you want to taste some delicious French food. Maybe you want to focus on an upcoming celebration and just really revel in what that's going to look like and what that's going to feel like. And I did a little bit of that yesterday because I was feeling worried and anxious. And I had a daughter who was giving a recital last night. And I know that sometimes in the past she has felt anxious. And instead of focusing on that, I focus on how she's growing up and how she's 20 years old now and in university and has honed her own skills for dealing with that. And I focused on what she would look like and how she would play. And when I got to the concert, I expanded that feeling in me so that when I went in there, I had that peaceful, pure, positive energy. And the audience was full of peace, positive, uplifting energy for her when she came in. And I must say it was a beautiful and enlightening performance. And so I could have spent my day worrying, or I could have spent my day daydreaming. And that's what I want to get across to you. Expand that daydreaming, that positive feeling in your body. And so when you do this, this aligns you not only with what you think about, but with all other desires that you have. So I could be thinking about Olivia's performance last night and feeling good about that. But as I'm doing that, and as I'm dreaming of how beautiful she's going to look in her dress and how beautiful she's going to sound and how confident she's going to be, I'm also aligning with my other desires. Because when you are in that vortex, that center, that pure, a place of pure, positive, peaceful energy, when you're in your eye of the storm, you are not only creating that one thing you're thinking about. If it's a positive thing, you're bringing in lots of other things to feel positive about. But it works the other way. If you're thinking about something negative, it's bringing very much, it's reducing your eye of your storm, making it very small, so that you're surrounded by more upset and more grief. Then that also is bringing more of that energy into your awareness. Is it making sense? So I'd like to read a quote, actually, from the creator of a book called Creative Visualizations, and she's a real master at visualization. And she says that creative visualization is magic. It feels like magic in the truest and highest meaning of the word. It involves understanding and aligning yourself with the natural principles that govern the workings of the universe, and learning to use these principles in the most conscious and creative ways. And these principles are what we're talking about today, like attracting like. You taking your center, your eye of your storm, and creating a pure, positive, peaceful energy in there. You using the magic of your mind, because your mind is a magical place, but it's your tool to use. Use the magic of your mind to create positive energy in your body and your feelings. Then that helps bring and attract more of those positive things you want into your life. So really check yourself. Check yourself many, many times a day and see, where am I? Am I in lack, or am I in pure positive energy? Creative visualization. So if you turn to the soul focus sections at the back of every single chapter, which we really love because this is work for you. This book might seem like it's about us, but this book is really about you, because we've worked through many of these issues and continue to do so. And we want it to give you tools to enhance your own wisdom. And when you practice these tools and practice using them in your life, you get to enhance your own ability to live the cleanest life that you can live, so that you can learn to create the life that you want. So if you turn to the back, I'm just going to look at the soul focus in this section because there's a soul message. There's a soul step for you to do, a soul message for you to glean the information from that. And then there's also a soul focus. So in the soul focus section, right near the bottom, there are 4 steps for you to use your creative visualization, your mind, your imagination to create what you want. And in the first step is choose your goal. You know, sometimes even figuring out what we want, we find that confusing. Take some time and figure out what you want. And how you do that is by checking in with how it feels. Do I want to do this? And how does that feel in my body? Do I get an expanded feeling in my enteric brain, my gut area? Or do I get a contraction? That's not feeling right for me right now. It may in the future. So check in. Is this something I want to do? Does it feel good? Does it make me retreat? Does it feel good? Does it make me retreat? That's a great way just to help you find your goal. Choose your goal. So number 1, choose your goal. Number 2, create a very clear picture of your goal in your mind. What do you see? Pick something up in your vision. You know, see, can you smell something in your vision? You want to make it as real as possible because the molecules in our vision are just slightly lighter than the molecules in our body. We're in a more dense energy here because we are here on Earth. But our energy extends out from us. And now our mind energy is our vision. And that is just slightly lighter, but also very real. So choose a clear picture in your mind. What do you see? Pick something up. Feel its weight. How does it feel? Is there a certain smell that you notice? Do you notice any beautiful colors, or what colors are around you? Make it vivid. Make your vision vivid. Bring your vision to life. Make it as alive as you can, as real as you can, because the more natural and real it feels, the more you practice your vision, the more real it will feel to you over time. And the more real it feels, the more it is closer to coming past. So when it feels like it's already happened to you, it's coming into your world. Number 3, focus on your vision often. Do this quite often. And teachers Abraham Hicks tell us that if you focus on your vision for at least 17 seconds at a time, then you get an expanded state. Another 17 seconds expands even more, bringing more light energy to it. So make your minimum vision focusing time 17 seconds. And if you really want to expand the energy that goes with creating your intention, then give your attention to your vision for 15 minutes a day. Just before you go to sleep, let it wash over you. Go into the details. Think about what you want. Think about how you're going to feel when you have it. Give it color. Give it smells. Give it weight. Really notice the details in your vision. And that's all you have to do. It's a pleasant thing to do. First thing when you wake up in the morning, last thing before you go to sleep at night. To create that like attracts like in your life. So I'd like to read you one more quote by Joseph Murphy. He's a psychologist, and I just love what he says. Desire is a wish with wings of imagination. Imagination and faith. Imagine the fulfillment of your desire. Feel it. I'm going to start that again. Desire is a wish with wings and imagination and faith. Imagine the fulfillment of your desire. Feel its reality and it will come to pass. I just love that quote. What do you want to create? Whatever it is, get started in your imagination first. That's our tool. And give it wings. Give it detail. Give it expansive energy. And soon you'll see that fly into your life. So thank you for tuning in. That was a little longer than I had anticipated today. But thank you for tuning in again and watching the video all the way through, because that's where we talk about the tools that you can really start to use in your daily life. And I would love to see you checking in with yourself. Am I in lack in my thoughts? Am I in intention? Am I in looking at my desire? Am I in the positive side of creating how I want to feel in my life? Because that expands your inner peace. So a big thank you. I hope this video was helpful for you today. And of course, leave your comments. Tell us what you're working on. Tell us what you want to create in your life. Let me know if you've been in lack and now you know how to switch out of lack into pure positive energy. I want you to think about growing your eye, the eye of your storm, which is your pure, positive, peaceful energy at the center of your being. So next week, Flo will be here. Natalie will be back the week after that. And in 3 weeks' time, I'll be with you with Soul Step number 6, God in Disguise. See you next time.